Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good night, top of the morning, bottom of the ninth. Bonjour, Arvidazang, Konnichiwa. And by the way, all language translations are brought to you by the U.S. public school education system. You're welcome. So today we have some good news and bad news for Microsoft and Xbox. Mostly bad news, but there is some good news, right? So we're going to talk about both. So we're reading an article here from The Verge. It says U.S. judge temporarily blocks Microsoft's attempt to buy Activision. Who's this coming from? Who's this complaint coming from being filed by the FTC? Asked for a preliminary injunction. A judge is blocking the deal until the court can decide yes or no. That's kind of a tagline. There's a little bit more to it. So it says a federal court has issued a temporary restraining order that will prevent Microsoft from closing its $68.7 billion deal to acquire Activision. So it's issued, right? At least for now, right? The Federal Trade Commission filed a complaint on Monday seeking to get the restraining order. I didn't know you can put a restraining order on a company. I filed a restraining order before. I wish it was Microsoft instead of who was stalking me. But, we can't have everything we want in life. And a preliminary injunction, and the court has agreed to the restraining order while it considers that injunction. If the courts grant the injunction as well, the FTC would have a chance to make its legal case before any deal can be done. As a result of today's order, right, here's some details. Microsoft and Activision cannot complete the acquisition until after 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on the fifth business day after the court rules on the FTC's request for a preliminary injunction, or a date set by the court, whichever is later. The court has also set an evidentiary hearing on the preliminary injunction for June 22nd and the 23rd. So today's the 14th. We're waiting a little bit. No, 15th. And we're waiting a little bit to uh, have that hearing, right? So we're pushing the hearing to the 22nd and 23rd. So we have nothing going before then. And then the hearing, and then 5 business days, right? Afterwards, they cannot purchase Activision or close that deal. So they say as much here. So it's extremely unlikely these companies will close the transaction this month. So the 23rd plus 5 days, that's the 28th. So unless they just close it right on the 29th, like, oh, there you go. Thank you, guys. That was fun. Let's close this deal. Accelerating the legal process in the US will ultimately bring more choice and competition to the gaming market, Microsoft spokesman David Cuddy said in a statement to The Verge. A temporary restraining order makes sense until we can receive a decision from the court, which is moving swiftly. Right? Microsoft and Activision announced a planned acquisition back in January 22, and you know all this already. For those who don't know, it was blocked by the UK regulators, which is the CMA, but the EU regulators approved the deal. The FTC sued in an attempt to block the deal. So their main competition would be, or detractors would be, the FTC and the CMA. Unfortunately for Microsoft, that is the two biggest markets, which is the UK and the US. So I don't know what's going on here. If the consumer governing bodies uh, disapprove of the deal, and those are the two biggest markets. I don't know what Xbox is going to close. If you have two blocks on it, I don't know what Xbox is trying to close. That's different. Um, and can they even sell in those markets? Two biggest markets that and they don't have a good reputation in the East, as at least as Asia. So that's rough. All right, so here's some good news. Technically, the deal is supposed to close before a July 18th deadline. If the deal isn't renegotiated to extend that deadline, Microsoft is obligated to pay Activision Blizzard a $3 billion breakup fee. So what's the good news? Technically, the deal is supposed to close before July 18th deadline. So we feel like we have a month left before this deal is decided on, right? But technically it could be extended if it's not blocked, right? Um and who's deciding on that deadline? It seems like it's Activision and Microsoft, right? Or at least Activision, because they set the deadline in the first place. So that deadline is kind of smoke and mirrors. It's probably going to be extended. So that's the good news. There is more time, there is more deliberating, but two blocks, two of the major markets, that is the bad news. And the restraining order. You know what I'm saying? So and if you're listening, you know, that restraining order is still in play. So stay out of my bushes. You know who you are. Um, Phil Spencer. But anyway, we're gonna close. We're gonna end the video here. I'm not gonna keep you guys any longer. But until next time, take these companies to task. Ask for better. Never settle for trash. It's your man's boycott. And I'm out.